Hello again, everybody. Andrew Rogers here for TST Total Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure to be here with you. It's Friday, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo for those Star Wars fans. It seems like every single day of May has a Star Wars reference in it somewhere. I like to call it Revenge of the 5th, but to each their own, I guess. My TST poll of the day question. I was asking this to a couple of guys down at work. Of all the Star Wars movies that have ever been released, which of these specific two is worse than the other? Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, or Episode 2, Attack of the Clones? TST Total Sports Talk. I'm going to throw that poll up, answer it on Twitter. My Twitter is at AndrewRogers99. It's a big show today. We got a lot to cover, a lot to go over. The Senators were in action against the Rangers in the NHL Playoffs, the only game there last night. There were a couple games in the NBA Playoffs. We'll talk about that. Toronto Blue Jays are back underway today, although it really doesn't make much of a difference at this point. And the OHL Championship series got underway. Also we're going to talk about Team Canada, the IHF World Hockey Championships 2017 goes in France this year. Team Canada defends their gold. They start today against the Czech Republic. I'll have the game details there, and we'll go over the roster and see who will be representing Canada and hoping to defend gold in that tournament. Like I say, so the first thing I want to do is start off with the NHL playoff story. The New York Rangers defeated the Ottawa Senators 4-1. Their series is now tied at 2 apiece. Rangers absolutely dominated in this game. I think the big story was Erik Karlsson going down with what they're calling a lower body injury. That's a huge blow to the Ottawa Senators if they have any hopes in winning this series against the Rangers. Rangers have all the momentum right now, having won the last two after dropping the first two. It could be anybody's series at this point, but hopefully Ottawa, for their sake, they don't lose Karlsson long term. We'll have hopefully more as we know, or as we continue to update here on TST Total Sports Talk. Also in this game, Craig Anderson was pulled in favor of Mike Condon. That's obviously got to be a concern. Craig Anderson, hopefully he'll bounce back in the next one for sure for Ottawa. They're going to need him. He's been huge for them all season long. Like I say, that series is now tied at 2s. Tonight we got Nashville at St. Louis. Nashville leads that series 3-1, hoping to advance to the Western Conference Final. Wouldn't that be something? PK Subban in the Western Conference Final, and pretty sure Montreal's golf games have gotten out of the rust, so to speak. They've been probably on there every day since they were eliminated in the first round at the hands of the Rangers. The second game that goes tonight is the late game, Edmonton and Anaheim to face off against the Ducks. That series is tied at 2. Kind of weird with this one. Both teams have won both games on the road in the opponent's building. So that one's kind of strange. This series tied at 2, goes at 10:30 over on Sportsnet, game number 5. That's Nashville St. Louis is at 8 o'clock tonight on CBC, game number 5 there as well. Switching over to the NBA story, it was the Washington Wizards pulling off an upset. They defeated the Boston Celtics 116-89. Boston now leads that series 2-1. Washington snapping a 6-game winning streak by the Boston Celtics. They hadn't lost since they dropped the first 2 to the Chicago Bulls in the opening round. Boston had reeled off 6 in a row. Washington putting a stop to that and getting themselves back in the series. It's a massive win for that organization here in the second round against a very, very, very good-looking team in the Boston Celtics. Elsewhere, there was another game last night. The Golden State Warriors defeating the Utah Jazz 115-104. Golden State now leads that series 2-0. Boy, do they look good in the playoffs. They haven't dropped a game yet so far this NBA playoff season. 2 games tonight. The Toronto Raptors open up at home. Game number 3 of their series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jurassic Park. It'll be loud outside, hopefully loud inside. The Raptors will need every little bit of support from the fans. They will also need a better performance from DeMar DeRozan. 5 points in 31 minutes in game number 2. Got to find a way to neutralize LeBron James. He's been absolutely incredible in these playoffs, especially against the Raptors. He's been dominant for sure. Cleveland leads that series 2-0. It goes at 7 o'clock over on Sportsnet, game number 3. The other game tonight, Spurs at the Rockets. They're tied at 1. The game is at 9:30 p.m. tonight, game number 3. They're both teams splitting in San Antonio. Toronto Blue Jays, they were off last night. Contrary to some of the reports I was hearing, actually, I believe my neighbor told me that the Jays scrimmaged his little son's T-ball team. They lost 13-0. Jose had 5 strikeouts. I don't know how much validity there is to that. I'm guessing none, considering that the Jays are on their way to the Tropicana Field, where they have struggled mightily over the years to face off again for 3 games against the Tampa Bay Rays, starting tonight. It's Francisco Liriano, 2-2 on the year against Chris Archer, who's 2-1. Jays come into the series 9-19. They sit in the basement of the AL East, 9 games behind the first place New York Yankees. Tampa Bay at 15-15 are the 4th place team. They are 4 games ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays. Jays continue to get bitten by the injury bug. Obviously, they have a ton of injuries. Josh Donaldson, Jay Happ, Aaron Sanchez, Troy Tulowitzki, and now it looks like Marcus Stroman may end up on the DL. It's not clear as of this point as to whether or not the Jays will do that, but we will keep a tab on that, obviously. The Erie Otters got goals from Dylan Strome and Warren Fogle, and held off a Mississauga Fury in the 3rd period to hold on and take Game 1 of their OHL Championship Series. Erie winning 2-1 over the Steelheads. They lead 1-0 now. Game 2 goes Sunday at 4 p.m. Boy, this is going to be a fantastic series. If Game 1 is any indication, it should be a dandy the rest of the way. Finally, the final topic we're going to talk about is the IIHF World Hockey Championship. Canada gets underway today at 2:15 this afternoon. They go up against Czech Republic. They're icing a kind of depleted. There's a lot of star power, but it's not as many as we've seen in the past. Definitely when it comes to Canada being represented by the NHL players. Here's a complete team breakdown for you for the roster. We have Chad Johnson representing from Calgary, Calvin Pickard from Colorado, and Eric Comrie from Winnipeg making up the goalies. On defense, we got Tyson Barrie from Colorado, Jason Demers from Florida Panthers, Josh Morrissey from Winnipeg, Mike Matheson from Florida, Calvin DeHaan from the New York Islanders, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic on defense from San Jose. And the forwards are Matt Duchene from Colorado, Braden Shen from Philly, Travis Konechny from Philly, Mitch Marner from Toronto, Wayne Simmons from Philly, Braden Point from Tampa Bay, Claude Giroux from Philadelphia. He was named the captain yesterday. He will wear the C for the Canadians. Nate McKinnon from Colorado, Jeff Skinner from Carolina, Mark Scheifele from Winnipeg, Alex Killorn from Tampa Bay, and Ryan O'Reilly from Buffalo, as well as Sean Couturier from the Philadelphia Flyers. So like I say, IIHF World Hockey Championships get underway today. Canada plays at 2:15, going up against the Czech Republic. Final note, you know what? Hey, it's Friday, and I don't know where you guys are, but I know where I am, and it is not very pleasant outside. It's cold, it's rainy, they're calling for flurries on Sunday. It's May. I mean, come on, give us a break. But what I want to do is give you guys a little bit of a clip. It's something that I strive to do every time I go out and play golf. I strive for this every time I sit in that tee box and I say, listen, I could do this. This is, of course, a clip from the movie, one of my favorite movies, sports movies of all time, one of my very, very favorites. It's The Legend of Bagger Vance, starring Matt Damon and Will Smith. And here's your clip. TST, Total Sports Talk. I'm Andrew Rogers. Thank you very much for joining me, and you guys have a wonderful Friday and wonderful weekend. We'll be back with you, as always, for another episode of TST, Total Sports Talk.